Capricorn, welcome to your yearly 2021 Sidereal Astrology forecast. All right, so a lot to talk about this year. We have a lot of shifts and changes with the outer planets, some important aspects to talk about. And so we'll be looking at which areas of your life these will likely be emphasizing and how to work with these areas in constructive ways for the year. Now, again, we are using true sidereal astrology, which is very different from mainstream astrology. So your true sidereal sign is different from your mainstream sign. And so you do want to make sure you're watching this video for your true sidereal sign. Down below will be sun sign dates to find your true sidereal sun sign there that you can watch for that video, and also the birth chart calculator, which can show your sidereal moon and your sidereal ascendant, because I do recommend watching all three videos if you do have the time to get a more holistic and personalized look, because these are very general readings, but if you look at all three of those, it gives you a more specific look at the year ahead. All right, so right off the bat, late December of 2020 going into 2021, we have your ruler Saturn joining up with Jupiter going into your first house of Capricorn. So I think 2021 is going to be a very constructive year for personal growth just in general. A lot of you are going to be learning a lot about yourself, starting to expand your horizons a bit, gaining a stronger sense of identity, that grounded and mature kind of identity as well with your sign Capricorn, but also Saturn coming into your sign really adds to the patience, the responsibility, that grounding kind of energy. So great year of development for all things involving identity, who you are, learning more about yourself, building that strength of character, maturity, but also your goals. I think it's a great time for seeing some new foundations with long-term goals, ambitions, things you can really strive towards, and see how you can take that initiative to really build and ground these things. But you'll likely be very open-minded with Jupiter next to your Saturn, your ruler, and also in Capricorn. So great to see potentials and opportunities and then really ground them one step at a time. So January 10th, we do have Mars leaving Pisces. The second half of 2020 was very uncertain in regards to where we were putting our action and our energy. But now it starts to become a lot clearer. And for you, I think it really starts to put a lot of motivation and drive into your home life. Maybe for some of you, it's location. Maybe for others, it's your where you live, your home, others with family. And so a lot of fire coming into the year with that. And this has already been, a lot of area of change these past 2 years. I think a lot of you these past couple of years have maybe been experimenting with your home life in a sense, maybe trying new and different things. And it's all been about, finding more of your true self in your home, or about home. And so it's still a great year for experimenting. It's all about experimentation, getting outside your comfort zone, trying new and different things. And in that process, you are discovering more of what you want out of your home life and your family life that speaks more to your true self. So a lot of drive towards that, but in January 10th, but a lot of emphasis for the whole year there. Now, January 13th, we do have a new moon, and it will be conjunct up to Pluto, which is really a reminder that 2020 and even the years before that, but especially last year, I think a lot was developed in regards to your receptivity. Maybe a lot of you spent more time in your alone time, maybe in terms of spiritual development or finding more peace in your life, basically, and going more with the flow and such. So that's all really shifted now because Saturn and Jupiter have left your 12th now coming into the year. So it is more of an action-oriented kind of phase, but it's still good for that, spiritual time. And I think, January 13th onward, you might just feel a little bit more empowered, feeling a little bit more at peace, a little bit more empowered with your spiritual self and willingness to go with the flow, which is fantastic. January 17th, we have Jupiter squaring Uranus, but this is particularly important because it's Saturn squaring Uranus for pretty much the whole year, all the way from February 17th through December 24th. And Saturn being your ruler, this is a great time of really getting outside that comfort zone. There might be some energy about the year that's uncomfortable, you having to, do some things that are outside your comfort zone, but it's such a good year for experimentation. One, experimenting with your identity, who you are, what you want, your goals in life, and then again also with your home and your personal life, right? So this is a challenging thing because it's squares, but it's that we want to challenge ourselves. And in this context, how can you do all these things that are important for you, but also for your but also create freedom for your home life, to create experimentation for your home life, right? To be adaptive there and try new things. These are usually very different parts of life, what we want and maybe what our family wants, or our values and our family values, or maybe it's what we want in terms of our independence, but also what we might need for our home life and private life. So anything that unites these two together, your needs, who you are, what you want, with your home, with your family, with your personal life, could be a great way of building this year, essentially. Now, late February, but particularly mid-March, March 13th onwards, we have Neptune going into Pisces, leaving your second house. So, these past 10 years, maybe there's been uncertainty about resources, finances. There's been a lot of deeper water energy. But now that Neptune's leaving the resource sector, sometimes it can be almost like a dream come true in the sense of maybe income, maybe investments, resources, things of this nature. So it's great to see that now the fog lifts, there's more clarity, there's a little bit more certainty around the resource sector, which is great. And do see how everything ended up kind of working out almost in a divine timing sense, that it required maybe a lot of faith and trust along the process, but it was all about developing that faith and trust. The resource sector was your area of finding spiritual trust, spiritual peace, spiritual acceptance, and that really culminates around that time. Now, Neptune will be going into your third house, so your mind starts to get more of that water energy. Could be a great time of maybe finding more spiritual meaningfulness in your studies, in reading, writing, maybe doing things that are more spiritually meaningful with sharing information in some way with others. Maybe a dream or ideal coming into the mix in regards to what you want to do more socially in your life, maybe with peers or neighbors. So do listen to those dreams and ideals regarding your learning, regarding communication, and a bit of that social life. And I think you'll find throughout that process for the next many years while Neptune's in Pisces that everything also ends up working out there in regards to those areas. And April 18th, to add to this whole financial kind of thing, from April 18th all the way through August 29th, there's a lot of expansion taking place in the resource sector. So this could be, like I said, opportunities for external abundance, income, investments, resources. But fundamentally, I think what's expanding is your sense of self-value and self-reliance. And so it's a really buoyant kind of energy. So it is good to be grounded, not to overexpand, of course, but do see that there certainly could be opportunities there. Anything you're open-minded about, inspired about, could be good to put the work into, right, to develop your inner and outer resources this year. Now, April 21st through May 11th, we do have the new moon in that home sector. So there could be something new starting to emerge more physically, tangibly around that time, late April into May. But again, it's still about experimentation. It is still something new and different. So trying and experimenting with new and different things there, as we said, for the whole year is great. But you could notice maybe some tangible new beginnings coming out of maybe particularly the May 11th kind of new moon there. May 26th and June 10th, we do have the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse. And these are kind of subtle energies, but I would say for the whole year, it is really good to find this balance between doing things that are maybe more collective and involving your future ideals, but to also do what you're passionate about, what you love. I think it's a great year for exploring new things you're passionate about, new hobbies, new interests, new things you love, new things you're creating, because that's where the North Node is. So it's good to kind of explore that. What are some new things with your self-expression, with your hobbies, with your interests that might actually be what the world needs or might contribute back to the community in some way? I think is great. So June 10th, May 30th will be a nice shift in the right direction with that, as well as with the November 19th and December 4th eclipses as well. All right, so June 14th, Saturn squares Uranus for the second time. Things probably start to make a little bit more sense in regards to this whole integration we talked about with identity and home, with independence and home and personal life, and how those can be united. So for the second half of the year, I think very constructive time for building both of those areas, your grounded sense of self, and also your home and personal life in the context of experimentation. August 29th, Jupiter will go back into your sign So from August 29th through December 4th, again, you get that bit of buoyancy with confidence, maybe assertiveness, sense of self, identity. And so that's adding to what is being grounded here with this new you that's really being grounded at this time. We talked about the November 19th, December 4th eclipses, helping you find balance between what the world needs and what you need, the world's passion and your passion, and how to unite those two. December 4th, Jupiter will come back into your resource sector and be there all the way into 2022, which is again going to help create some expansion with your inner and outer resources, as we discussed. And then December 19th, Venus will go retrograde. It's nothing major, but here in your 12th house, it's good to kind of go back and maybe re-examine your spiritual values, maybe get some of that alone time, experiment with that a little bit. Go back and reintegrate with your soul and spiritual self going into that new year, into 2022. And then December 24th, we have the last Saturn square Uranus. This is the final integration of all of this energy that's been about getting outside your comfort zone, having new experiences, probably in the context of home, as we discussed, probably in the context of you changing and getting more innovative and progressive and experimental. So that finalizes. I still think it's 2022 still going to be a good year for developing self, that maturity, that groundedness, and still for changes there to experiment with your home life. But something definitely finalizes there at the very end of the year, where you probably do have more of that willingness to get outside your comfort zone and try new things and have new experiences, which has really been changing you throughout the year. All right, so Capricorn, have a fantastic year. Thank you so much for watching. Now, this video does come with a personal reading discount, 20% off personal readings. You know, these horoscopes are very general and collective, so the most precise and accurate readings are, of course, looking at your unique chart. So if you're interested in that, there's a link down below for 20% off. But again, thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome year, Capricorn, and I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.